Hi everybody, this is Cage Minds. I'm Micah. Here we are today. We're going to talk about UFC The Ultimate Fighter Season 13 finale, live and free on Spike TV. As we do here on Cage Minds, we start the first fight of the night. We'll work our way up all the way to the main event. That's how I'm going to break them down and give you my predictions. So keep up with me. First fight of the night, as we have it, starts off with Jeremy the Little Heathen Stevenson with a record of 19-6, taking on Daniel Downs, nicknamed Danny Boy, who has an 8-1 record. Downs trains with the Duke Rufus camp. Jeremy Stevens has trained with Pat Miletich. The sparring partner sessions that he had with Josh Neer are legendary for beating each other. So they're both going to be primarily stand-up fighters, wanting to just have fun with the striking game. Stevens has more power, 12 career TKOs, well, more fights. Also, the 12 career TKOs are knockouts. As to Downs, who only has 5, and they're all TKOs, not really any KOs, so it's an accumulation of punch kind of deal. I'm looking for both these fighters to lead the show off with some fireworks. They're going to stand, they're going to bang, they'll come in the middle of the ring, they're going to go around the ring, but they're going to stand up. I don't see this fight touching the ground unless somebody gets knocked to the ground. My prediction is that Stevens will either finish this or have a more aggressive striking style to either knock the man out Downs or to take the unanimous decision victory. So I like the UFC vet, Jeremy Stevens, to continue the 3 out of 4 wins that he had now. I look for him to add another one to that total. We're going to move on to the next fight now, and that's bringing George Roop, 11-8-1, The Ultimate Fighter Season 8 alumni member, taking on Josh Grisby. The Fluke has a record of 14-2. Grisby was on his way towards a collision course with featherweight champion Jose Aldo prior to losing a unanimous decision victory to Dustin Pryor. He's looking to get back on that right track, climb back up the mountain, and get to a title shot. Roop would like to do the same thing. Roop has won 5 out of 6 until getting knocked out by Mark Hominick. Both of these men try to go back up. They're on a collision course for each other. Roop has the striking advantage with the length. I think a little bit more technical advantage. Power would be about equal for this. Grappling ability, I think Josh Grisby has more. If this fight gets close, I think Josh Grisby can take it to the ground, possibly even sink in his own submission. If Roop tries to take this fight to the ground, I think Grisby can sink in his own submission. I'm liking Josh Grisby to take it over George Roop just to try to get inside of the striking ability, the long limbs, but I think Grisby has the power with the technique, the potential to do this. I'm liking Josh Grisby. Next fight of the night, as we have it, hits 2 guys that were on this season of The Ultimate Fighter Season 13. Shamar Bailey, 11-3, versus Ryan McGilberry, who has a 11-4-1 record. Both of these men were members of Team Dos Santos. McGilberry has a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a 9 submissions to his 11 victories. Only 1 TKO and 1 decision. So his ability to finish on the ground is exceptional. But Shamar Bailey is a strong wrestler who's used to a big fight atmosphere, having competed in N1 Global and Strikeforce. He also has a day job during the day, career taking care of people, being a firefighter, and also in that time gets to roll around and train with Chris Lytle. So we're figuring that he's not new to the ground game, to the submissions. He should have his own cunningness. I'm liking his wrestling ability, his posture. I think he's going to be able to ground and pound this one out, taking unanimous decision, picking Shamar Bailey. Moving on then, Justin Edwards and Clay Harvison. Edwards coming in with a 7-0 record, nicknamed Fast Eddie, as Harvison is 8-3, nicknamed Heavy Metal. Again, both of these guys were from the Ultimate Fighter show, both members of Team Brock Lesnar. Edwards is powerful, explosive, has some heavier hands, and a Greco-Roman wrestling background. As for Harvison, it's never been to a decision, is on a 2-fight winning streak, but just not knowing too much about these guys, seeing how they fought on the show, I like Edwards, his tenacity, more of a grinder. I like the edge that he had to him. I think he's going to be able to use his wrestling. Again, take top control and take a victory. The next fight, as I have it, pits Ken Stone, 9-2, making his UFC debut in a big way against Scott Jorgensen, former superstar of the WEC, with an 11-4 record. We know about his wrestling, his tenaciousness, his conditioning, his work ethic, his aggressiveness. I think that all mounting up to the big stage, to the debut for Ken Stone, could be a lot. Stone has that 9-2 record, as I said, with 4 victories by TKO and 5 by submission, never going all the way to a decision for a victory. But I don't think the submissions really hold that well up here, as Jorgensen has more than comparable abilities with his wrestling, being able to nullify these submissions, get himself out of bad predicaments. I like Jorgensen to get back on his winning ways. Prior to the loss of Dominic Cruz, he was on a 5-fight winning streak. Dominic Cruz just outworked him, did not dominate him. I think Jorgensen will be refocused, will be dominant, will look and take a unanimous decision victory. Moving on now, we have Francisco Rivera, a 5-1 record, taking on Reuben Duran, a 7-3-1 record. Duran is strong, explosive, good striking, nice ground and pound. 3 TKOs, 3 submissions to his career right now. He's won 4 or 5, and he's a 4-time Grappler's Quest champion. Remind you of somebody, Jake Shields, a 3-time Grappler's Quest champion. That kind of ability puts the fight in wherever realm you want to take it. Saying that, Francisco Rivera likes to stand a little more, 3 career TKOs, but this is also going to be his debut at bantamweight. Feeling lighter, the weight cut, what does it do to him? I'm thinking that Duran, with the more well-versed grappling abilities, is going to take a unanimous decision victory and just kind of wear out Francisco Rivera. As we move on now, getting closer to that main card, we have 2 guys making their return to the UFC, both been out due to injury for a while. We got crazy Tim Kreider at 13-5, taking on Ed Short Fuse Herman, who's 17-7. Herman is the kind of fighter that likes to clinch, wrestle, get in close, keep the quarters close, make the fight grinding, make the fight nasty. Tim Kreider has no problem fighting whatever fight anyone wants to fight with him. Begin this fight, these guys are going to come, smile at each other, and punch each other in the face in the middle of the ring. After that, we may see some closeness, some groundwork, a technical chess battle. If this matchup goes to the ground, I think Tim Kreider has a superior submission ability, and Ed Herman has had a tendency to falter versus submission specialists, so I'm looking for Tim Kreider to obviously take a submission victory. The next fight, as we have 2 big punchers. Kyle Kingsbury at 10-2-1 will take on Fabio Maldonado at 18-3. Kingsbury, a member of the American Kickboxing Academy, also a Ultimate Fighter season alumni, is on a 3-fight winning streak, ever improving on his striking. His wrestling has been nice. Explosive power from his football days at Arizona State. All that being said, Fabio Maldonado is no walkover. He's a member of Team Nogueira, a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, a man who had 22 career professional boxing matches and ended 21 of them by KO. It also is said that he has a granite chin, can take a shot. He has the jiu-jitsu, he has the chin, he has the hands. It's a little bit stronger chin, I think, than Kyle Kingsbury, and that's going to be my decisiveness. If Kingsbury wants to win this fight, he possibly can if he's able to use the wrestler's mentality, the football player transition into a wrestler's mentality, use the takedowns, the ground and pound, and the control. If not, Maldonado has more than the potential and the ability to slap in a submission on the ground or even knock out Kingsbury from the feet. I like Maldonado, but Kingsbury still has the skills to win this fight nonetheless. Then we're going to go on to now some more Ultimate Fighter fights. These guys were on the show again together, teammates on and off the show. Cold Steel Chuck O'Neill at 8-4, with Chris C. Murder Hope at 4-2. Both of these men are blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They know each other very well. Chuck O'Neill is kind of the nutritionist and the guy that keeps both of these men in shape, or at least did so during the show. So how does this affect Chris Hope fighting his buddy, a mentor? We'll see how that works out. Chris Hope uses his grappling abilities more to keep the fight standing. Both of these men have 2 career TKOs to their records. But Chuck O'Neill does have 5 submissions. He is much more proficient with his grappling and his submission game. I think that's going to be the key in him taking a victory. He also was on a huge amount of momentum during the show and also coming into the show on a 3-fight win streak. Once he turned into Cold Steel Chuck O'Neill, there was a new fighter born within him. I look for that fighter to keep on a winning roll. Moving us on to our co-main event, and the fight this night that I am most looking forward to, as Clay Guida, the Carpenter, at 28-8, or 28-11, depending on where you find his record, is taking on Anthony Showtime Pettis. We all remember the kick off the cage. He comes in with a record 11-1 or 13-1, depending on where you find the records at. The winner of this fight takes a huge step forward in the lightweight division as far as a title shot goes. Anthony Pettis is just trying to get what he had already won, that title shot. If you stack the two of them up, we're going to look conditioning. Conditioning is not a problem. We could probably have these guys fight 7, maybe 10 rounds before they would ever get tired. As far as the grappling goes, every time that you want to give someone else the grappling advantage over Anthony Pettis, namely Shane Roller and Ben Henderson, who are more than comparable wrestlers, Pettis is able to overcome that mountain and win the fight. So I can't really give it. I think that's kind of a draw. The striking ability, I'm going to give a little better striking ability to Pettis. And then we go to the submission ability. They're both comparable. They can both end the fight. Kreider more with a neck crank, a rear naked choke, a vice, some kind of strength moves. As for Anthony Pettis, has a very dangerous triangle, a very dangerous guard, very flexible. Both men very flexible. I look for his striking ability to be the difference. I think he'll be a little more accurate with it, a little more active with it. Kind of the hair in the eyes, messing up Kreider's vision a little bit. I'd like this fight to go all the way to the unanimous decision and Anthony Pettis to take this one. We'll see some showtime. Moving us all the way up to the main event. This is the finale part of the finale for the Ultimate Fighter. The 11-2 Tony Ferguson is taking on Ramsey Nigeam, who is 5-1. Both of these men were able to finish off all their fights on the Ultimate Fighter show. So both men riding huge waves of momentum coming into this fight. Also, what I think really looks good on Ramsey is that he has been training with Jonathan Brookings, Court McGee. It's the Pit trying to make a three-peat on Ultimate Fighter winners. The wrestling, the ground and pound, the grinding out, that's more of the Ramsey style. Wrestling and boxing for Ferguson, he'd rather stand and bang a little more, try for the knockout. Liking the grinder to just grind it out, seeing the potential abilities, liking him just a little more, liking the camp, the training partners. Just feel that it all adds up to a Ramsey winning the Ultimate Fighter Season 13. So if everyone now that I'm done with the show would like to go back over with it with me, I'm going to go back over our picks real quick. We have Jeremy Stevens. We have Josh Grisby, Shamar Bailey, Justin Edwards, Scott Jorgensen, Reuben Duran, Tim Kreider, Fabio, Maldonado, Cold Steel, Chuck ONeill, Showtime, Anthony Pettis, and Ramsey Nigeam. This leads us to the conclusion of this portion of our show. Now I got one last thought for everybody. And as you break out your piece of gum, I'd like for you to chew on this with me. Here's some thoughts. The words #1 contender. Well, we've seen guys win #1 contender fights before in the UFC, but we really got to see or dissect what does that mean and what does that lead. You figure you win a #1 contenders fight, the next thing for you is fighting for that title. We'll ask Anthony Pettis how that went. I'm hoping for him to win this fight for the reason that I think he's the better fighter, and I've also already seen him earn a title shot that has been taken away from him due to other circumstances. I'm more calling out the UFC right now, thinking you guys have to reevaluate the way that you do #1 contenders, the way that you have guys sitting at the ringside saying, and potentially he is the next one to fight this man. We've seen it with the 205 division with John Jones and Rashad Evans. Not seeing Rashad Evans fight. We've seen the same thing happen to Junior Dos Santos in the heavyweight division. So this is a call out to everyone. Think about what does the words #1 contender truly mean and how should it be decided and how quick should they get their title shot or an interim title shot. Chew on that. I'm Micah. This is Cage Minds. I'll be back with the results from Tough 13. Bye.